Welcome to part 2 of your training, Working with Adults. Our goal is to familiarize you with what adults need to learn and retain information in a training setting, using highly researched and validated methods. The following practices of working with adults are based in the theories of Malcolm S. Knowles. If any of these tips intrigue you, we highly encourage you to check out any of his other published works. Tip 1. Adults learn best in an informal atmosphere, remembering that informal and disorganized are not the same thing. You can set this informal atmosphere by being prepared. First, let your team know you'll be working with the CDA/STL or team leader. Second, review the checklist and determine what you're going to cover when. And third, determine if you're going to need coverage while training this team member. Additionally, you can use other tools like icebreakers, learning agreements, and planning sheets. You may be your trainee's first shift at a store. Help eliminate some of the tension and potential fear by checking in with them before you start your training. Ask them about their previous work experience or possibly share one of your favorite products at the moment. Once you settle in and have both had a moment to get to know each other, establish some learning agreements. These can mostly be done verbally, where you exchange what they expect from you and what you expect from them during your time together. Finally, you can utilize the planning sheet, a document available in each CDA/STL binder, to outline the structure of your shifts together, deciding when you'll cover what content. Tip 2. Adults are goal or relevancy oriented. We need to know the why behind the what we're learning. Once you've used the available tools to create an informal yet structured atmosphere, we remember adults must see a reason for learning something. The learning has to be applicable to their work or other responsibilities to be of value to them. Therefore, trainers must identify objectives for adult learners before the training begins. Also, helping your learners see how the content, goal, or process fits into the bigger picture. Tip 3. Adults are responsible and self-directed. If you remember from Engage Leader, they are also Development Level 1, or enthusiastic beginners. Let's refresh quickly on what that means. In the Situational Leadership 2 model, a leader will fluidly move between the different leadership styles based on the development level of their team member on a specific task or goal. Each style utilizes directive and supportive behaviors. Although the team leaders and CDA/STLs you're working with bring their own experience, they are still a D1 on most of the tasks or goals of their new role. This is a quick refresher, and if you'd like to take a deeper dive, you can always reference your Engage Leader materials. For now, let's review. A new team leader or CDA/STL does not know what they do not know. They may think they know everything that goes along with the role, and your job is to be explicit as possible without damaging your trainee's ego. Tip 4. Whenever possible, give your new TL or CDA/STL a hands-on task. Why? Because adults learn best when they're able to apply what they've learned. Utilizing effective questions is a great way to give your learners some control over the process. If we balance between content-based who, what, when, and process-based how and why, they can lead themselves in applying what they've just learned. Take a moment and review these potential questions you're seeing now. Do you have any go-to effective questions that you like to utilize when training? Go ahead and make a note. Concluding our adult learning theory segment, take a moment to review another tool, Edgar Dale's Cone of Experience. What do you see? As a training facilitator, we have to use a blend of approaches. Bottom line, giving our adult learners an opportunity to practice what they've just learned. We are now in our last segment of working with adults. We're going to review teaching a job skill, utilizing a well-recognized and consistent 5-step method and responding appropriately to your trainee. 3 points to consider when teaching a job skill. Teaching is not telling. Its ultimate goal is to help people learn. It's not all about you. It's truly about the learner. You were selected because you are a subject matter expert, and many of the tasks you'll be training on have become second nature to you. Try and remember what it was like when you first stepped into your role or were learning new tasks. Many trainees will get nervous. There are many models out there for teaching a job skill. This is a simple 5-step process, which we'll review with a common example, bagging groceries. As we prepare, we'd obtain any equipment or supplies needed to complete the task. In this case, all-size grocery bags, rubber bands, Scotch tape, plastic bags for meat and seafood, a standing mat, and of course, your apron and name tag. As we explain and introduce the subject, we give some background on the usefulness and application to this team member in their new role. Our explanations should create a desire to become proficient in the specific task or goal. Why should someone get excited about bagging groceries? Well, it's one of the key ways that we elevate our guest service, setting us aside from our competitors. When demonstrating each step, speak slowly and clearly so the learner can easily follow you and gain confidence in their own skills. In this scenario, we would walk new team members through properly bagging different items from different departments. Depending on your task, it may be more complicated. If you have a job aid, definitely feel free to use it. Practicing is the heart of teaching a skill to others. Ask the learner if they're ready to try a specific task or goal, ensuring that you tell them you're going to correct them along the way to keep them on track. Every trainee should have the opportunity to practice their skills under your careful guidance and coaching, remembering that some may be ready to move on very quickly, while others will need to practice the task more frequently before feeling comfortable and confident. You may also partner your new team leaders or CDASTLs with other team members on your team as they practice the new tools and processes that you have taught them. The final step is to give trainees a chance to demonstrate their newly gained skills to someone else. Have them become the teacher, explain the process back to you, or explain the process to someone else as if they were new. You can jump in and coach when necessary. Now that we have reviewed the 5 steps of teaching a job skill, let's look at the time balance of applying this method. Although you'll adjust your approach slightly based on the needs of each trainee that you're working with, there is a proper time balance, with the majority of the time spent on practicing, as you see here. Let's get real about how you may begin to feel going through these processes of teaching a job skill and applying the adult learning theory. If you've ever exhibited or been on the receiving end of any of those behaviors, that is likely what you remember most about that person. As an effective leader, we do our best to not show any negative behaviors, including our body language, as it often speaks louder than our words. If you do find yourself getting a little frustrated, do not follow these real-life examples. Instead, do follow these quality statements made by other leaders. So, expert team leader, that's a wrap on our segment of working with adults. Coming up next, you'll review with your point of contact from your regional team your specific checklists for working with new team leaders and CDASTLs. If you have any questions regarding the two programs, the tools we reviewed today, or your role as an expert team leader, please reach out to your learning and development team at any time. We are here to support you and want you to be successful.